today we're going to be discussing the updates coming in the accounting solution version 1.7.5. These updates include options for price modifiers, which allow you to round up the selling price to the next 0.05 pence, and options to allow the fixed price override to override customer group fixed pricing. The customer statements manager has been completely redesigned to include some new features such as a payment history statement and a statement of outstanding invoices. New margin reports with a new interface has been added, along with some other minor features and a few bug fixes. Some of these include documents backups with the main archive, a delay for remote users backing up, the calculate price button on orders, the lag has been fixed, the customer shopping list has been updated, and some double clicking options to allow order input to be sped up. So first off, you'll need to install the system. Now you'll be sent the link to download the latest update, so we just simply open that zip file. And then from the icon on your desktop, right click and go to Open File Location. And then what we simply need to do is drag and drop that file across, and when prompted, click Replace it with Destination File. So next, simply launch the system as normal. Of course, mine opens up on the second screen. When prompted with the security warning, simply click Enable Content. Next, you'll be asked to install the update. Just simply press yes. And that's it, the system is installed and it will boot up as normal. Once you get to the login screen, you can type in your username and password, or if you're operating a barcode scanner and you're using ID badges, you can simply scan and log on. Next, you'll see the release notes. You can read through those and then tap close. First, we're going to look at price modifiers. So from the main screen, if we come to the options menu, and if we scroll down to the bottom, there's a new section for price modifiers. Now, the price modifiers only affect the unit price. They don't affect the calculated price when the quantities are calculated. The first price modifier allows you to round up the unit price by 0.05 pence. So in this example, a unit price of £5.62 would actually sell out at £5.65. This just allows you to have a cleaner unit price for your invoices for your customers. However, note that this will not be applied if the unit price is less than £1. In addition, if you have a fixed price for a price group or a fixed price override, it will also not be applied to that. If you do wish to apply that roundup to a fixed price or a fixed price override, then you need to, in addition to enabling the roundup, you also need to enable the force fixed 0.05. Otherwise, it will only affect prices that are calculated on percentages. The second price modifier is the force fixed prices. If you have a fixed price for a price group on an item, then that price will come through when this is set to no. If you enable this, and there is a fixed price for that price group and there is a fixed price override, the fixed price override price will have priority over the price set in the price group. So next we're going to look at some examples. So the product we're going to use in our example is Halo 5, and you can see here it's out of cost, it's out of count, and it's unit cost for each of those two units. And you can see here the markup percentages that have been applied to it. So if we come over to our order and press calculate price, you see that produces a value of £15.66, and that is with all price modifiers turned off. Next, if we enable the fixed price, which should be £50.01, and that price gets applied there. And currently, if we have a fixed price override, which is £60.07 for this example, and if we calculate the price again, you see that that stays at £50.01. If we were to come down and enable forced fixed price override and save that option, come back and calculate the price, the fixed price override value is applied to that. Next, we'll disable that. For the next example, we'll now disable the fixed price override, and we'll also disable the customer price group fixed price and just solely go off the percentages. So we'll recalculate that value, and that gives us our £15.66. And now if we engage the round up to 0.05 pence, and save that option. If we now calculate the price, the unit price will be at £15.70, so it rounds up to the next 0.05 that's above the current value that's based on the percentages. However, in its current state, with only the first fixed price modifier, if we enable the fixed price, which is the £50 and a penny, and then we press the calculate price, see that value comes through there with the penny. If we wanted fixed prices to be rounded, it's a simple case of combining these two options. So if we enable the force fixed price roundup and go back to our order and press calculate price, you see that £50 and 5 pence is returned, so it's rounded up. And that works the same with our fixed price override. So if we were to go here, enable that and calculate again, you'll see this time it has not changed, and that's because we need our force fixed price enabled. So if we save that option, come back to our order, and you see that is rounded up as well because our sales price override had a 7 pence on the end. We can then of course disable that again just by putting the force fixed round off and coming back and calculating again. So these options allow you to manage multiple different scenarios for your fixed pricing and also to make your invoices look a lot more tidy. The selling prices, obviously if there is fractions involved, will still come out with odd figures, but your selling prices will all look nice and tidy and more presentable to your customers should you choose to enable these options. The next section that's been updated is the Customer Statement Manager. To access it, just go to your Accounts Manager and then the Customer Statements Manager. Once the form loads, you'll see everything's been rearranged. The primary list of customer invoices for the period that's selected is now extended, and the list of customers with outstanding balances has been moved to the side. This is to accommodate controls for some of the new features, as there are two new statements to view. First being a payment history statement and an outstanding invoices statement. So we'll look at the payment history statement first. So if we select our customer and we will choose the lifetime time frame, and of course the lifetime selects from the very first order they made to the current date. And if we press payment history, you see a statement is produced listing all the payments that they've made in the date and the invoices that they were applied to. It also contains the normal sections for the invoices such as the account summary and the amount that they're due still to pay. When producing statements and using the email function, if a customer has made a payment in the period that's highlighted, a payment history statement will be generated automatically and included in that email as a third attachment, and the body of the text in the email is adjusted to signify that a payment history was attached as well. So when it gets to the first of the month and you're wanting to do your statements for the last month, you see as well I've highlighted the last month button so it stands out more. We can see the invoices for that period there. If we were to tap email and that customer had made a payment during that period, that will get attached to that as well. The second part is the outstanding invoices. So if we click the outstanding invoices button, you'll be taken to a separate form where you'll see a list of customers whose invoices have not been closed. There's no date range as this searches for any customer invoice which has not been closed from any time. So if we click onto Workshop and then press View Statement, you can see here an outstanding invoice statement, and you can see the invoice number, the amount that was due in that order, and the outstanding balance. So we can see here in this example that invoice 178 still has an outstanding balance of £16.35 as a part payment must have been applied to that at some stage. A new report has been added for viewing margin from sales. To get to it, go to Accounts Manager and then Accounts Reports, and then at the top we have Margin Reports. From this form you'll be able to view the margin for each order for the time period selected. If you wish to change that, you can type it in manually or use the date selection tools at the side. At the bottom there'll be a summary as well for the time period that's selected. By default, when the form loads, it's every customer during that period. If you wish to select an individual customer, we'll choose Workshop from the top here. Simply click and the numbers will be adjusted for that customer. And if you wish to get back to viewing everyone, just tap Reset. Next, a few minor changes and bug fixes. The first change is when the system backs up, it will now also back up job sheets, purchase orders and stock takes as well. However, these are not backed up individually each time a backup is made, like the archiving of the main system. That you can see here, that creates a folder for each individual time it's backed up. The documents are backed up one time and they overwrite every single time they are backed up so as to not have multiple duplicates of the same invoice floating around the system. Another change to backups that have been made is for remote users. So if you're a network user, if you are not on the same system as the core of the system, unless a backup has not been made for 2 days. However, you can force a backup from a remote user if you wish. Simply come into the options screen, change the last sync address to a date earlier than 2 days ago, click save, and then when the options are saved, simply press backup now. And that will force a network user to back up. Otherwise, it'll all be handled from the main terminal. Another bug fix has been on the calculate price button. The calculate price button will now no longer lag when pressed. This was especially affecting network users, but will now calculate within nanoseconds. Another function that you may find useful on the creation of orders screen or editing of orders is the delivery date. If you wish to set that to the same date as the order date, simply double click in the box. This also applies to purchase orders as well from the same form. When you are setting the delivery date for a purchase order, simply double click on the date and the order date will be copied across to the delivery date. The Alexa flash briefing function has also been updated slightly. So we go to other functions and Alexa flash briefing, and more details and instructions have been provided on the screen to help you input your flash briefing. The next section to be updated is the shopping list. If you go to Reports, Order Analysis and Past Order Analysis, and if we select a customer, and we'll set the date range to be quite far for the example with our test data, and if you press Shopping List, based on the date entered, this produces a list of what they regularly purchased during that period. This is something that you could give to a customer, allowing them to complete it and send it back to you to place their order, or you could use it whilst on the phone to be able to easily check off what they order regularly, allowing you to maximise the sale by ensuring that the customer doesn't forget to order something. So that was a quick look at the new features coming in Accounting Solutions version 1.7.5 that will be rolling out soon. So don't forget to rate, comment, favourite and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.